Ethereum. Finally, the markets are realizing it is the one realization that Ethereum has a stronghold on DeFi, decentralized finance, and everything that comes with that. The liquidity, the innovation, the future of finance, which is forming together one piece at a time. We've talked about the tokens, utility, and governance. We've talked about NFTs, but it's time to talk about the next coming hype wave for DeFi that has been building for some time. What is it? Find out in just over 10 minutes because it's time for Chico Crypto. So everyone knows the recent NFT hype wave that hit the markets. Everyone from Paris Hilton to Lindsay Lohan was minting themselves on the blockchain.
I bet you can smell it through the computer.
I tried it. It didn't work for me.
That hype cycle is calming down now, but it will pick back up. It just needed a lull. That NFT lull isn't a bad thing. It just means it's time for a new hype cycle to take place. One that quietly has been building while NFTs had that center stage, DAOs. So for those crypto newbies, first, what is a DAO? Well, that stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. There is no hierarchy with this type of organization. It's distributed. This means a DAO is an organization that is run, managed, and governed by its peers. This is all made autonomous through smart contracts. So how are DAOs building with hush hush in mind? Well, DeepDAO is best tracker for value locked up in these organizations. As of last August, DAO's TVL was just over 55 million. Through the 9 months to today, DAO TVL has been growing, is now settling at just under 1 billion. Small in the eyes of DeFi, but I think this number is just getting started. Why? Well, back in February of 2020, it was big news when DeFi broke 1 billion TVL. And no one thought DeFi would be where it is today. Going to DeFi Pulse, that 1 billion break is just a little blip on the radar, and TVL has officially broken 75 billion. If you didn't know, DeFi and DAOs, they go hand in hand. Thus, in my opinion, TVL and DAOs is going to have its breakout this year because almost every DeFi protocol is moving towards the DAO model. So, as Thanos would say,
I am inevitable.
Protocol DAOs are forming. You've seen the governance tokens rolled out, beginning with MakerDAO, and then for things like Aave and Compound, where protocol upgrades are voted on by the token holders. Even Uniswap, which is a company, has aspects of a DAO since their governance token launch. So the question is, who are some of my favorite up-and-coming DAO-based projects? Well, one I touched on earlier in the week, focusing on their roll-up. That is Habitat, who has taken the DAO concept and flipping it on its scalable head. So what is Habitat? Well, it's a community organization layer built on top of an optimistic rollup. These DAOs are called domains, and they make up the Habitat. Transactions from domains are bundled and submitted to a shared optimistic rollup, whose security is shared with the Ethereum mainnet. What makes Habitat different from something like Optimism and their rollup? Well, it's what each is focusing on creating. Optimism is trying to create a general rollup chain. Habitat is creating a rollup that is domain and application specific. What does that mean? Well, each domain is sovereign, DAO or application specific. They host their own nodes for transactions, votes, governance, and the like, which means these transactions are easily scalable, low gas fees, 96% cheaper with almost instant speed. But these nodes also signal together to govern the rollup itself, infrastructure, and parameters. This means Habitat's rollup is a multi-operator rollup, as each domain will have its own operator or operators submitting to the rollup. So it's a multi-operator rollup focused on scaling DAOs. Right now, there are 2 domains using the feature set of Habitat. Strudel Finance's DAO governance is scalable, cheap, and fast with proposals that have on-chain execution. And the second is where Habitat was incubated out of, the Leap DAO and its governance. 2 DAO domains living on the edge of rollups. Now, I want to get back into their rollup solution, Nutberry, as the GitHub FAQ has some breadcrumbs. Under the section Fraud Proof Protocol, they say, the initial version of NetBerry used an interactive verification game as a fraud-proving mechanism. It became clear that this is not practicable for a side chain because the nature of verification games is interactive. With version 2, gated computing, this is non-interactive and a dispute only needs to be done once for a NetBerry block. As a side effect, this also removes a lot of system complexity, though at the time of writing, the gated computing model is not implemented to the full extent. And then scrolling down in the section on gated computing, they say, sadly, I have no more resources right now except for the cryptic Solidity YOL implementation. They are keeping the resources for gated computing under wraps. I wonder why. Now it's time for a sponsored DAO segment of this video supported by the team over at HOPR. And like always, the full details of our agreement can be found down in the description. A DAO segment? Yes, segment I'm excited about as I've covered HOPR in the past and I like DAOs. It was a pick of mine in January when the token could only be earned by running a HOPR node. Running a HOPR node? Node as in HOPR must be a protocol layer. Yeah, it's actually a layer 0, privacy underlayer for blockchains, shielding their transactions. HOPR nodes are basically intermediary nodes in a blockchain network. They provide users privacy in that network through their nodes, which hop traffic between them. You get the hop in HOPR now? Now what I like about HOPR is they trialed and errored where to place their token and payment infrastructure for their network. They were going to layer 2 for this. They experimented with XDAI first, then they tried Polygon, formerly Matic, and finally they tried Binance Smart Chain. Where did they end up after trying each? From their documentation, the network lives on XDAI. And after that experimentation, what they learned from using each chain, the founders of HOPR aren't afraid to call anyone out. Co-founder Sebastian tweeted this just a couple weeks back. Don't let @Peter Core Ethereum Dev see this. The I told you so will be out of this world. With BNB at 600 bucks, 7 GUI gas and 90k gas, a pancake swap is now around 40 cents. Lack of innovation came to eat this free lunch, but hey, let's fix it with 200 million block gas limit. Of which Core Ethereum Dev Peter replied, I'm waiting for BNB to implode. Sebastian then replied, that's not going to be one massive crash though, but a gradual degradation. That process has already started. See the 1M block-wide cracks here? And you want to know what's honorable about them telling the truth? Go into HOPR's website and about us, Binance Labs is an investor in them. Not afraid to speak about what they see, and that's because HOPR has had the DAO ethos baked into them from the beginning. Do what's best for the community and protocol, not what the VCs are telling you to do. And that DAO, the HOPR Genesis DAO, got its initial launch on the XDAI chain back in February. The genesis of the DAO was all about getting the HOPR token launched and where. And the team just put out an update last week on this, titled The Road to the HOPR DAO. The blog says everyone who participated in a HOPR testnet was given an equal say in how to launch a HOPR token. The community voted for a DAO limited presale and public balancer LPB, which raised 20 million. The HOPR Association had no input in the launch beyond providing the tokens to the DAO and setting up the various liquidity pools. The community decided on every stage of the launch and 0 of the raised funds went to the HOPR team. They've all gone to providing continued liquidity and stability to the token. Their Genesis DAO was able to pull off one of the fairest token launches in crypto history. So if you want to see the next steps for their DAO, link for that blog as well as the HOPR website and how to run a node are below. Now, what I want to finish this episode off with is looking at DAO projects who are focusing on creating infrastructure for DAOs. And a Kevin K. Nielsen on Twitter put together a great infographic showing many of the key players. Of course, down in frameworks, there is Habitat. But there are many other frameworks who could be getting big eyes soon, including one of the most popular, Aragon. And frameworks is just one slice of that pie. There are controllers, treasury-based DAO projects, which I think Habitat could fit into too, but also work and aggregators. What I mean is there is a nice basket of projects who need to be researched because I can't do it all. So, the BC Leaks Army, look at this picture that breaks it all down, the DAO down. Research the projects, understand the tokenomics, and then of course, make your informed DAO decision. Cheers, I'll see you next time.